Hello, good afternoon. We continue. I was on the road and I've arrived, and this matter concerns the office of the president and who should occupy this office and where is wisdom and understanding to be found about this office. And I may know what we want, but how can it be possible that one individual who office of the president is expected to know everything? It's not easy to know what you don't know. So life doesn't allow a single individual to know everything. Yet in this promise that if you elect me to be your president, then I'll be able to deliver the promise. What kind of promise is it that can possibly be delivered by a single individual? In part one, in part two, we discussed this issue. If you have a foolish president, is it that we expect that person to be surrounded by smart people? If we have a party system where people have to join a political club, become members of it, then they on become active agents of the people in the corridors of government. How do we ensure that the people in government really are equipped, are fit to do what is required of them in government? How many of us become the first CEO, the first head of department, the first lawyer, the first doctor, the first architect? And sometimes we don't know what it is that it takes to discharge our duties. So when we look at the president, and after 39 years of independence, we must go back to the beginning of this journey of independence. And what is that people expected from independence? And whose independence anyway? How can you claim independence and yet depend on an individual called the president to deliver the promise? There are many people who are power illiterate, just don't know what it means to be a president. And if you don't know, where is wisdom to be found? Because people like Nelson Chimanda say, Makura mungaterera simbisi chidokore. So we want to see your face. No, I was on my way and I was driving. So the only thing I could put is the camera in front of me. So it's not because I didn't want my face to be seen, but it was going to be dangerous for my face to be seen because I don't need to look at myself. But now I'm using a laptop, so that's why I'm here. So I'm in the office, and that's all, Nelson. There's no big issue about it. I am me, whether you don't see me or you see me. But the issues that we're discussing have to form part of what we need to understand so that we don't put too much unrealistic expectations on a single individual and therefore expect that individual to deliver things that he cannot possibly do as a single individual. Even if he was surrounded by the best experts, he would not know what is to be known. So let's be content that the president that we want is just a person who is fallible like all of us, a mortal person, a person who dies like all of us. So let us invest in understanding what kind of properties or qualities are required by a person to discharge the duties that are contemplated in the office of the president. There will be different presidents, but the office will remain the highest office in the land. So if it is that office, and we are blank as to what the office is and ought to be and ought to mean, then it occurs to me that we will always not be able to get the best that is possible. And the ED misses you, the visit to his house in Helensville. Do you still remember, say, I don't know why he would miss me, and but if that is the case, that's irrelevant. For this ED the person can miss me, but that's not the issue that we are discussing here. We have to discuss what is it that is required. Is it the person that we are looking for? Is it a genius that we are looking for? Is it a gifted person that we are looking for? There are many gifted people in the world, but are they good presidents because they're gifted? What kind of gift do we require so that we have faith in the office of the president? It's somebody we can respect. Right now, there are many people who talk about ED, the person, and they don't talk about ED, the president. What kind of president do we want? ED may be a good person, but a bad president. Let's try to distinguish the two. Even if he's no longer a president, he doesn't stop being himself. So let's learn, let's understand what are we talking about when we're trying the problem statement. What is the problem that we are facing? Is it a problem of the person, the wrong person, rotten apple, or the office itself is misunderstood? There are many people who are lonely as presidents because they don't know who to consult, where to consult, because none of the other citizens of Zimbabwe, except the deceased, the dead one, Mugabe, have been president. So right now, ED is alone. Even his own ministers are gossip mongers. They go around and tell everybody what they want to tell him. Then let's look at what Chigora is saying. If the situation in Zimbabwe is anything to go by, I think you are asking questions that are beyond the creation of those in leadership positions in Zimbabwe. Is too deep for them. I'm not talking to them, Chigora. I'm talking to you. So you must speak as a person. Don't be a representative of other people who you think are mentally deprived. You may be the privileged person. If it's too deep, let's make it simple. Tell me how do we make it simple so that all of us can learn. Samson, Resoro, Tashika, welcome. Delight, Mabisa, we need only some of the doctrine of separation of powers. Again, we need to unpack what is this doctrine of separation of powers. I guess you can tell us, Delight. And bless, have a good day. That's Nelson. Then we have the only thing is having a president who respects the constitution of the land, nothing about talent. Yes, the constitution limits the powers of the president. And it is us who have to make the president understand the limitations imposed upon him by the constitution. We are the sovereigns, and we form the republic because we are the republics. It is our consent, our choices that creates a government. Government cannot create itself. People cannot give themselves positions, even the highest position in the land of a president. It still requires the consent and validation. It is us who need to know how our power has been squandered by us, sometimes out of ignorance, sometimes out of negligence. So let's not point fingers at others. Let's accept that we are the problem. And that problem starts with us not knowing what we created and not knowing how to make that which we created accountable to the very people that we are. Republic of bootlickers, yes, Musakwa, Ishmael, you may say so. We are the republic. We are the people we're waiting for. So that's what it is. When the president doesn't know the doctrine of separation of powers, institutions work with cohesion. It is not the job of the president to know. It is the job of citizens to know what their government is all about. They have to shape it. They have to define it. They have to give it character and personality, not one individual a delight. We have a duty, and that's why I'm here, to try to open a dialogue on this office of the president so that we understand, because I've seen seemingly educated people, but foolish in terms of understanding what government is, what government is not, what a president is and what a president is not. There are far too many people who want to be presidents, but they actually don't know what it is that a president actually must and ought to do. My take is all the public institutions in Zimbabwe are okay, but the people occupying those offices act and behave in a way that contradicts what is expected of them. But Gora, these are your offices. If I need a passport, I must get it. Whatever I need of government service. But right now, there is a problem in Zimbabwe. There is a big problem. So we have to go to the bottom of it. And then we have to deal with what the problem is. Zimbabwe is always in under military rule and the rest cannot do anything. I see a bureau. Okay? Say you are still in politics or you are just an analyst. If you are still in politics, how can you help the country move forward? Many of us believe that you were the man to lead us to Canaan. Mr. Ungwe, thank you. Good to hear from you. I'm just here to provoke, ignite, inspire a new way of thinking at things that we take for granted. And today we're just looking at the office of the president. And this is part 3. We have been going back and forth. But where is wisdom to be found? People think politics is actually a profession. And that's why you're asking, still in politics. I cannot be in something that doesn't exist. I am me. I have a right to comment, Mr. Ung. It doesn't matter whether somebody is a president or not. What we want, whoever the president is, must do what is expected in terms of the covenant. If it's the Constitution, let's use the Constitution as a standard. And let's find out what a president ought to do and what kind of properties are expected of a president. That's all. The notion we have about power belonging to the people is different from what is on the ground. Yes, Delight. If it's different, tell us, how do we perfect the republic? How do we get to know what is required so that we can be better for it? Let not us here theorize about power, reality, and what is the alternative. I think as Zimbabweans, we need to eliminate political position in our society and concentrate on building the new Zimbabwe one by supporting young and old talent that has been denied chances of being productive. It's not about denying or wanting passion. The job of a president need not be the job of a doer or a thinker, because we are the sovereigns. We are the free people. Tell me a president who is free from a security point of view, who is free from discovering what is there to be known. Let's look at death. What is death when someone who dies is not known to you? So let's try to invest in thinking so that when we think, we can also negotiate shared understanding on what is a president. What does it make to be a good one? Are you thinking of forming a political party? One name DC Zimbabwe. Everybody thinks of, when you say something, they don't take it for what it is. So the space of active citizenship is eroded. Like this Facebook user doesn't identify himself. He thinks everything is about political party. Forget life takes place outside politics. If anything, there is more to do outside the four corners of government. Government is only there to serve. It can't be there to substitute human beings. Citizens are the ones who own their future, not government. I can't go to government to tell me. Why would you need people in government who think and act on your behalf? Would you want that in your husband, in your wife? Somebody who does things for you is everywhere where you are. Or you want just to be free. What is the price of freedom? Let's celebrate freedom. We are free people. Political parties, limit. Here we're talking about ideas, not talking about positions. Why is it? Men and women, they must be going out, they must be having sex. Why can't we take things for what they are, for once? We are talking here about power illiteracy, that the most ignorant people pretend that they know everything, and yet they know nothing, absolutely nothing, but they pretend. Maybe we should start by finding if we have a constitution which provides for the separation of powers that we speak of, that the constitution is there. It does provide for the separation of powers. It also provides for you to be able to play your part as an active citizen. If we're ignorant about our powers and duties and rights, then most of us, the populace, are not bothered by public documents that are pertinent to our existence as a nation. Most of what the layman speaks of and discusses with regards to government is mostly mere hearsay and gossip. Samson, talk about yourself. Don't. They are not here. Let us be the authors of what we want to see. What kind of president do you want to see? Don't talk about other people. Talk about yourself. And then Saviors, I don't know, I'm Saviors say, I don't know who Saviors is. Not sure why it's not reflecting, just shows Facebook user. And then, it's not so simple as you are saying it here. If it's not simple, make it complex. Tell me where the complexity is. How can we tell a president of his duties when his responsibilities are provided there in the Constitution? Who creates this person, this monster that we call a monster? We can list a lot of fundamentals which can make a president a good one. But in your personal opinion, do we have a listening president? We don't need a listening president. We have to make him listen. What we are discussing here, if it's constructive, and he hears what we are saying, he will know that Zimbabwe is in a shit hole. Let's think about the problem and define it. Do we have a president who interprets the Constitution and what it says about presidential duties? He may have copied from his predecessor who didn't know what the limits were. He thought the liberation struggle was the limit, that as long as he participated in the liberation struggle, then he could do anything and act anyhow. And that's what the culture is that we ought to change. We have to change that. That what happened 40 years ago should not determine what happens today. We have come of age. Let us not be bamboozled, bullshitted. It has been going on for too long. Let's understand. When we understand, then we can ask better questions, more penetrating questions. And then, Mr. Mawere, you might be thinking, right, but the individuals in politics in Zimbabwe right now are there to fill their pockets, and they blocked all means of democracy and transparency. If you join politics now, either you get killed or you live in exile. I don't know what you have to join. We are all enjoined to be active citizens. It's not charity. We're not doing it to please the president. We should never do it to please anyone. We are sovereigns. Let us speak. Samson, start speaking as you. But the individuals are too many. You are not individuals, you are you. Say what is in your mind, not other people's minds. I'm tired of talking to people in the plural as if they represent other people, nameless and faceless people. Please come forward and say, this is what I think. This is the kind of president I want to see. And you can't get democracy, it's not charity. You have to fight for it. You have a duty as a citizen to make your president accountable. And let's find the best way of communicating. An eye for an eye will not make us see better. I think the problem is there are some people, again, some people. Who are these people? Huh? Who are these people? Who are these people you're talking? They are more important than others because they did something for the country. Let them think what they think. Therefore, anyone who does not toe their line is viewed as an enemy. And the polarization we have, more polarized on this platform because we are talking in parables, we're talking in third parties. So go to talk about yourself. Just your wish list. What kind of president do you want to see? You, not they. You're already here. Let's get on with it and talk about what matters to all of us. Emmanuel says you're right. I hope it's me that is right. I need my democracy back. You always have it. It can never be taken away. Your right to be yourself will always be your right. Don't be fooled by anyone. Let us think outside the box. Let us be what? Let us be vigilant. Let us be citizens of the name citizen. Free. It's not free. It's not free. We need to be able to think about what it means to be a citizen before we think of what it means to be a president. A president is just an actor, elected or chosen by the people. So please, let us understand our role as citizens first. And let us understand the role of this citizen who seemingly becomes superior to other citizens, but yet remain the same, grounded, walks on the same ground that we walk on. Doesn't have a high-heeled shoes. He is like all of us. Let us not put him in a higher pedestal. Let us not be afraid of him. Let us exercise this fear. No matter what reason. I don't know that if he's killing, let him kill us, because we are talking about ourselves being the sovereigns. When we say the Republic of Zimbabwe, it can't be a republic without the sovereigns who decide who should be its president. It is us who must decide. It is us who are enjoined to think. Let us not subcontract. Let us not subordinate our rights to anyone, however persuasive. How do we make our president listen to us? Let us define what our duties are. First, he thinks, rightly or wrongly, that anyone who is demonstrating is challenging his legitimacy, and as such is entitled to play the role that he's playing. Let us deal with this demon. The issue, Mr. Mawere, it honestly cost time Zamara's life when he told the president that he's in an office installed by the people. We did the most honorable thing of facing the beast, but he was alone. We have answers, but they break our legs. They hit our heads. The office of the president is killing people. Then once we reach that stage and see that the president has no power to do what he's doing, the right to protest is a constitutional right. Let us talk about it. Let us understand it. I want a president who put people first. A president is a human being. You never get a Jesus Christ in a president. Allow democracy. A president is a partisan person. He has a political club that he belongs to. Fight corruption. What he may call corruption or need not be dishonest to him. Create opportunities for him, for everyone. He may have his own children who are close to him, his own family who are close to him. And you don't want a person like, we have to protect ourselves. It's our government. Abuse of government should be a reason to impeach a president. But let's first understand what it is that we're talking about. Nothing is new under the sun, Mr. Maori. Men can change choices, and choices is what shape destiny. In Egypt, Pharaoh had his government until a man called Joseph was appointed in the right position, and a nation changed for the better. In Babylon, Darius had his government until he appointed a man called Daniel, and the nation changed for the better. We need just a man to show up who has a different spirit. He can either come from any party. Leaders are principles, powers, rulers, and just. I reject that idea. Facebook says you have a right to speak your mind. If you say you want a president who's a listening president, let's do that. If you want a president who doesn't use public power to achieve private ends, let's agree on that. There are many people who think the president must do what the current president is doing. Don't think he doesn't have his own believers. He's got his own supporters. So where do we go when we discover that my view is not the universe? It's just my view. How do we negotiate that we have the majority? Not that we want political power, but that the majority must have the last say. And what you are saying ought to happen. The days of Egypt and pharaohs have gone. We are in this 2019, in the 21st century, this digital revolution where we are talking to each other and we are all scattered all over the world. And yet we are talking. What can we do to change this? Do we need an education fund? Yes. Do we need to be literate? Yes. When people know better, they are not afraid. Because people are afraid because they don't know what another person is thinking. We are shadow boxing, and that's why there will not be any progress unless we get out of that cocoon. Not the president's government. It can't be a republic of one person. It's a republic of sovereigns, of decision makers. And we are the decision makers that we are waiting for. Let's get narrow. Let's get deeper. Let's get to a point where we share certain things. We share certain information. We become better citizens for it. Let us not fear the shadows. Let us not write things that position us as if we are nobodies. Let's refuse to be a nobody. Let's be somebody. Leaders should behave the way you do to engage with the people. However, these Southern eaters use a different model. No, we are not using Fuzi. Let us not be leaders. I am not your leader. I can't force you to respect me. I have to earn your respect. And you can process yourself. If I'm saying rubbish, you can tell me that's rubbish. I don't agree with you. But when you agree with me, let's have a shared understanding. There's no one with a better wisdom on what life holds. We all live life in the living. Tomorrow you may discover Mawere is dead. But what I have said today will remain for those who want to benefit from what I have said. I won't say it again in the same manner. On this day, 26th of November, 2019 is gone. And I'm gone. I'm marching towards extinction. One day I won't be here. But while I'm here, let me use my voice to provoke you. Let me use my voice to ignite you. Let me use my voice to inspire you. So I hear you when you say, let them kill us until they listen, then that's the road. What's in it is the ground that we are not going to die to do it alone. No, you won't do it alone. We have to share. There are some generals don't carry AK rifles. They don't carry the RPGs or whatever. They carry a pistol and a handkerchief. Why? Because there are people who can use their minds to define a problem so that it becomes so clear and the next steps become so clear to people. We are not there yet. We don't have a shared understanding. We may say Mnangagwa is wrong, but Mugabe was doing the same thing that Mnangagwa is doing. He could go to Singapore and disappear on holiday while Rome was burning. People said that is okay because he is president. He flew private. He did whatever he did. If you urinated on you, then it became a presidential urination. Let us stop that nonsense. Let us be more dignified. Let us understand where we are, what time it is, who is to do what. When we have a shared understanding, when ignorance is evaporated, you will discover that there is more to do than what we are doing. You are not my leader, but I'm saying your behavior to engage with your audience is key to leadership. Let's not call it leadership. Let's call it's key to humanity. Anyone of us be a president. It shouldn't mean that if one of us is the president, then he becomes smarter than us. He becomes wiser than everybody. Let's agree that no man is wiser than another. I may be wise on something, but not everything. While I'm here, I can't be anywhere else. So I'm already a prisoner while I'm here. I'm sitting here. People can come and go. I can't do it and leave you in silence. So let's understand leading is giving up something, freedom. Let us look at the people who have given us their own freedom. Whether that giving up is for the benefit of the majority. There are many people who think they're serving by being presidents when they are actually destroying the hopes and aspirations of poor people. So it's not easy. You are very correct, but my beef is, do you believe this is the right platform to provoke the populace consciousness? There can never be any better platform. Whatever I've said, it can be transcribed. It can be converted into something. The fact that I'm talking, it may inspire somebody. To do nothing is the biggest crime. To answer you, here's the kind of president the country is with your mentality. Again, I don't have a superior mentality, Charles. I got the same mentality that you have. But nobody has given you the space. And you can do the better thing. But what does the president need to do? Let us think. Do you think that it's time you come back to your country? For those who sought after your person are not there anymore. The country needs you most. The country doesn't need me. If you are there, Charles, I'm also there with you. Let's talk about things that we can do. If it means we mobilize resources so that Ungwe, you can be active on the ground, you can have fuel on the ground. Let's talk about how do we enable Ungwe to be the best citizen, the most active citizen, the responsible citizen, the responsive citizen. Anyone can do that. Let us not create a new Jesus. No, none of us is equipped to be superior to another. So how do you engage this rogue regime given their tendency of violence, brutality, and genocide? Let's understand them. Let's understand what the problem is. When we understand it, then we may discover that the problem is not legitimacy. The problem is purpose. If it's fit for purpose, let us drill deeper so that we find who among us has the most tolerance to allow others to shine, so that the best president can cut ribbons, not to build foundations. Respecting the rule of law in a country moves the country forward anytime, anyway. I agree with you. That is fundamental, the rule of law. That's where most African governments fail. That is what we need to get to. We need a president who understands the limitations imposed by the rule of law. In the animal kingdom, there are no courts. There is no law. It's the law of the jungle. But surely when human beings descend to the law of the jungle, where people disappear, are abducted, what is the difference between us and animals? When we arrive at that stage, we must ask ourselves, do we belong to a class of humans, or do we belong to a class of misplaced animals in government offices, driving Mercedes-Benzes, flying executive, eating mazondo? It can't be correct. No, you must refuse that your president is superior to you. The law must equalize us. If the president is wrong, let's identify where he's wrong. Let's fight for what is right. You are very oppositional, Mawere. OPD Chayo. You have an open mind and accept other views too. I am oppositional, that's fine, that's good. I have to give you my side, Mfuzi. I'll be wrong if I didn't tell you my own. Then you may think I'm here looking for a job. I got a CV, I want to be a president of this country or another country. I've never said I want to be a president. It's enough if we can talk one-on-one. Like this, we are talking about issues. Let's debate issues, not careers. Nobody's looking for a job on Facebook. It will be wrong for us to descend to that level where we think everybody who is saying something is motivated by a desire to be somebody. No, let's rise above that. Let us be more humane than we think. I would love to hear your opinion as well. Your wisdom is admirable, but you can effect more if you put your idea for discussion. Again, that's fine. Let's do that. Mawere for president, as if I looked for a job in Fuji. Enlighten the people and treat and vanish like evil spirits. I agree with you. At the dawn of the day, I agree with you, Calvin. That's the way it is. So I have shared with you, let's not look for a monster. Let's not move from one frying pan to another frying pan in the interest of change. Let us define what is it that we are so angry about. Shouldn't we start by being angry at our our own illiteracy? Shouldn't we start there? Shouldn't we fight for better ideas, not better people, so that those who stray we may know, those who bullshit we may know, so that we don't remain trapped in this personality battle? That if I were Emerson Mnangagwa, I would do a better job. And I ask you, tell me, what is the difference? What would you do differently? And people, they will tell you a lot of theories about government, but they can't even talk to you honestly what is possible. So here we are. I have spent time with you just to have this conversation, to have a national conversation, a global conversation on this president, whether it's Trump, whether it's somebody else. And we have in mind what happened. Again, we'll talk about all that. Let's talk about the subject of today, Rob, so that we finish one and we go to another. Then we grasp issues. Then we jump around and then we say, what is the problem? When the problem is us. So here I am. If you have any questions, if you have enjoyed this conversation, please tell me, on a scale of 1 to 10, what is your rating of this conversation? I know it's a monologue, I'm answering and question and answer, but you can tell me, you can give me your rating so that I'm not here asking for a job. I'm just here trying to, I'm moved by a frustration inspired by ignorance. Those who know or ought to know better, those are the empty vessels. You have never said that you want to be a president. That's undisputable. What if people ask you to be the president, for they have seen what sort of personality you possess? Even in your short stay in government, there was hope and light. I never worked for government, Charles. Some people think I worked for government. I've never worked for any government in my life. I've never sat on a table on the opposite side of a client or a citizen in any government in my life. So I don't know what it means to be a president. And I can't pretend I know, and I don't wish to know. And Samson gives me 8 out of 10. Thank you for being generous. I know I will earn the 20% that you have denied me, but it's a distinction. So I don't know what it means to be a president. That's why I'm saying those who want to be president, let's try to interrogate this issue so that those who want to be president, they may know from us what we expect of them, rather than end up having become presidents, but they have no clue as to what actually the job entails. Their only reference is called Robert Gabriel Mugabe. How many people revere him? Yet under his watch, SMM was caused by virtue of a draconian satanic law. And that law was done when all these people were there in government. But being told that, yes, Mawere, you are now G40. G40 Lacoste were in the same government while the Reconstruction Act was operated, including the inclusive government actors. Nobody ever resigned to say, not in my name. So let us not glorify mediocrity. No one knows what it means to be president until you become one. When you become one, they blame you for being a dictator, Edmo. So let us rehearse it so that those who may be president, they may know that we know what the job entails. It may not entail what the people are doing. You must be able to draw the line in the sand and say, not in my name. You are not my president. if you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let us say those unpleasant things. When I see the president being everywhere, opening this, opening that, talking about investment, I brought this, I funded this, I did this. That's not the job of a president. To phone another president when your deputy is sick, it's not the job of a president. What if you are not related to the president and you are equally sick, terminally sick? Who is going to make the phone call when the president doesn't know your name? Surely should that be the job of a president? I guess not. And we must be able to interrogate that and say, yes, President, you made a phone call to Xi Jinping. In what capacity were you making that call? It was the president of China. Does not make those phone calls for 1 billion people. Otherwise, you permanently be on the phone. And how many lifetimes would you need to make phone calls so that other citizens who are sick can be attended to and come back to their jobs, and their jobs are waiting for them? Let us interrogate, understand what the power of the president is and is not. Let us not be naive. The president does not have personal budget. No, it is the people's budget. It is the people's money. And who are the people? We are the sovereigns. It is in our name that governments are instituted. They are not instituted in the name of those who are in government offices. That is not what government is. So we can't descend into the animal kingdom and hope to leapfrog to where we must be in this 21st century. So it's not right for us not to understand what are presidential powers and what should be the mindset of a president and how should he express himself. What does he say he is? Who is he? Is he a smart guy? Why should he be smart and we elect him? Smart guys don't need to be elected. So that's my take. So, Edmo, I hope you have been answered. When you become one, it's too late. When you become a general, it's too late. You commit troops to die. Under your watch, you make stupid decisions. And you see people are perishing under your watch. And you still continue to say, I'm a general. General of what? Of corpses? Dead people? Would you want to be a general of dead people? Educate me. What do you mean you've never worked for government? If my memory serves me right, you were once a government minister. Correct me if I'm wrong. I was never a minister in my life. And neither a minister of religion or minister of any government. Never in my life. If you got V11s, please show me. It could be somebody else, not me. I've never been a minister. I left Zimbabwe in the year 1988. So I've never been. So that's what it is. So let me get your comments. So let's hear your rating, and so that I may know better So waiting for you. Huh? Which one? There is one room 20. Today. Then I made the HS house 3.9. 3.9. It was just an interbanking payment from HS house. It was on the 18th. At TLT 2000 from the 15th. Yeah.
There's nothing written for you.
No. So thank you very much. And there seems to be no comments. So I can assume that we are okay. So I can assume that we are okay. Let's continue the conversations. Let them spread. We can't cover everybody. Let's just keep on talking. I give you 9 out of 10, but you are very evasive. Ungwe says, I'm very evasive. I don't know what I'm supposed to say that will please you. I was never a minister. It's not evasive. I've just given you an answer. If you can give me the V11s, then that's fine. I can't deny something that I've been. I've never been a minister. And that's where it ends. So I cannot own up to something that I've never been. So there are people who have been ministers and their lives will show. There is a record, there's a track record, and I cannot be evasive on something that I don't know. If you know I've been a minister, please. Shigora says, can we have more of this? Certainly, let's continue. Whenever time permits, I'll come back and give my share so that we all can benefit. Let us not think a president is a gift from God. It's a creature of we elect. Even if it's a coup d'etat, they still need the consent of you and me. So let's apply leverage. Let us use our knowledge to be the weapon. Let's us use, thank you, Charles. Let us use knowledge to be the weapon. Let us be the change that we are waiting for. Charles, you are a full competent person to be a president. Never underestimate who you are. Chigora, never underestimate who you are. They say, amazing grace. How sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Can you please give your share to this who are messing up? Can you please give your share to those who are messing up? Not me alone. Brian, just harass them. Send to all the parliamentarians who pretend to represent you, but they are there for their own interest. Send to judges who give crooked judgments. Send to people in the executive who think they are little gods. So they'll hear your name, they'll hear my voice and say, no, if you walk on feet, you are like me. You are no politician. Let's tell those so-called politicians that please, you better not have 2 eyes, 2 ears, and 1 head, and you call yourself a politician. You better call yourself a human being. That's enough. Get a mask calling yourself politician. Who the hell are you? Huh? We need to tell them what time it is. It's not a time for who is a politician after all? Huh? So how many people are afraid of this little character? After getting a Mercedes-Benz, then he becomes a monster. So let us take ownership. From now onwards, don't call anyone G40, Lacoste. Just call them by their name, by their given name and by their surname. Because it's not always the case that there's only one person called so-and-so, called so-and-so. So let's us call them by their names. So let's refuse to play second fiddle. Let us be the owners, the custodians, the guardians of the path that we want to go. Because we have to travel it, not on a wheelchair. We have to travel it on our feet. If the president has 2 feet, so do I. So let's not just give him some pedestal where he can walk as if he's on a roller coaster. No, he must be grounded like us. He must be limited like us. So send it, Brian, share it, harass them, and say, I learned today that the president is a human being. He is not a president to me. No, I refuse. If he doesn't shape up, doesn't step up, then he steps out. And we hold the power to remove anyone who calls himself president without our satisfaction. You don't have to wait for elections. And the removal of Mugabe just showed you that the people shall govern. So that's it. So we'll come back when time permits. Thank you.